there's probably a particular reason why we need to differentiate instruction now. And I think it's fairly evident to teachers. We have an immense range of readiness levels in our classes, caused by a number of things, just the human condition for one thing. But we have more and more students who are being identified with learning needs, learning disabilities, attention deficit disorders, autism spectrum disorders, students identified as gifted. It's just a really vast range of students. And I think that's probably dramatically different than it was even 15, 20 years ago, because education is more an imperative for all students now. And the push is to keep them all there rather than to let them sort of leak out. In addition to that, we have students from so many cultures in our country now, which I think is a wonderful thing, that we are learning to live together and see the value of each student. But not all cultures come at the world in the same way, and they don't all prefer to learn in the same way. And if we are, in fact, going to make education a vehicle for success for everyone, we have to have classrooms that understand varied cultures and acknowledge them and build on them. And that gives us, in addition to the readiness in general, a second reason to move out in terms of differentiation, because kids come to us with different backgrounds. Even economics makes a big difference. And in many classrooms, we have students who are haves and have-nots. We have an inclination in school to teach the haves as though they will succeed and the have-nots as though they won't. And differentiation really suggests that it's our job to see them all as successful and then create the learning environment that does that. That's going to call for some different needs sometimes for a student who's been nurtured in every possible way and is ready to move ahead, and for a student, for example, who's learning a second language. And then, of course, kids' interests are all over the place now because there's so many amazing things to be interested in, some of them that we older guys don't always quite wrap around easily. But when we can reach out to students' interests, they're much more likely to come aboard with us. What's really interesting is most of those things we've known for decades because of our study of educational psychology, or just the psychology of learning. But we're now learning from research in the brain the fact that if a student finds work consistently too hard or consistently too easy, if they feel detached from what they're learning, if the conditions of learning are awkward, learning simply doesn't happen. So I think I'd say we need to differentiate because the kids in front of us require it, and because our best knowledge of teaching and learning requires it. And if we mean school to be successful, if we mean to be successful professionals, we really don't have a defensible option for teaching as though all the kids are match set.